Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video is our review on the Wisper 806 folding e-bike. We've ridden it in the rain, the dry, the city and along the canal for over 800 kilometers, and here it is, our review coming up right after this. Firstly, thanks to everyone who subscribed so far. If you are enjoying the content and maybe it's the first time you've watched the channel, then please consider subscribing and hitting the bell so that you can get updated with any new videos that we upload over the next few weeks. We're going to be uploading at least one video a week and we really appreciate the support. So let's get straight into the review. This is a review for the Wisper 806 folding e-bike, which I picked up about 4 weeks ago, and since then I've done just over 800 kilometers on it, on the commute mainly, but also using the bike. So this video is going to be broken up into 3 parts. Part 1 is going to be a general overview, part 2 is going to be the things that I love about the bike, and part 3 will be the things that I would change. So you may have noticed a while ago, a few weeks ago, when I first picked up the bike, I actually did a general overview of it, just kind of the basic features of it. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go into the detail of the general features, but I will put a link to that video at the end of this one, just in case you're interested. Okay, so this bike is straightforward to use. It is controlled from the LCD screen on the handlebars, which basically controls the level of assistance that you need while you ride the bike. So for example, if you are going up a hill, you might need more assistance, and if you're going down a hill, you might not need any assistance. This version of the bike is the torque version, which is the one up from the cadence. So the main difference between the torque and the cadence is that with the torque, when you apply pressure to the pedals, the motor gives you more assistance, and then when you ease off on the pedals, it reduces the assistance. On the cadence, the assistance is just constantly going. So the good thing with the torque is that you can get more miles out of it because it eases off the assistance when you don't need it anymore. The motor assists up to 25 kilometers an hour or 15 miles per hour. So you will get some support when you're first starting off, and then as soon as you hit 25 kilometers per hour, the motor will stop giving you the assistance, and anything faster than that really is up to you. The motor is really quiet, and while you're going along you actually don't really notice that there's a motor on there in terms of the noise. You do feel the motor giving you the assistance, but it's kind of just a very kind of low quiet hum in the background. Now in terms of range, the torque version of this bike with the 700 watt hour battery, which is the one that I have, will give you about 136 kilometer range, which is about 85 miles range, which I think is really good for an e-bike, and that's one of the reasons why I chose this e-bike over some of the others. A lot of the other e-bikes won't give you that amount of range. Generally speaking, they're about 36 kilometers, although you can get more. But the one thing that drew me towards this bike was if I want to go further, and I have as a result of having the battery and the torque version, I'm not worried about running out of battery after 50 kilometers. I can still carry on going. It's also worth noting that, as with all batteries, over life these batteries will lose some of their charge ability. So it's always worth getting the bigger battery if you can, because at the moment I can get 135 kilometers out of this battery, but a year, 2 years down the line, it might be reduced down to 80 kilometers. However, if I'd gone for the smallest battery, after a couple of years, I would not be getting the same amount of miles or kilometers out of it. So I'd maybe looking to get a new battery to replace that. So a tip really for any e-bike is if you can afford to get the bigger battery, it's always worth getting it. Okay, so this bike is really comfortable to ride. There is a big seat on it which is very comfortable, and these can be easily adjusted, so I generally have it in a more upright position. However, if you are more used to a kind of higher seat and lower handlebars, that can be adjusted through the quick release on the seat post. Generally speaking, I've found that the e-bike makes cycling more enjoyable, so I don't need to worry about the route that I'm taking and plan around big hills. I don't need to worry how far I'm going anymore, because the e-bike just takes the stress and the strain out of cycling, and then leaves everything else that I enjoy about cycling the same. Okay, so what do I love about this bike? Well, firstly, it makes me feel like a kid again. Well, maybe not that kid, but there is definitely something to be said about the smaller wheel size, which makes riding this bike a lot more exciting than a normal bike. It's a lot easier to manoeuvre, it's a lot faster to get started, and actually once you get started, it gets to speed very, very quickly. And some people will say that smaller wheels make for a bumpier ride, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, generally speaking, we always have potholes and bumps in the road, especially along the canal path. But even if I was on my mountain bike, I would be aiming to maneuver around those potholes. So I haven't really found these kind of big bumps as a massive issue. Okay, point number 2, things that I really love about this bike is the fact that it's an e-bike. Now, before I would never have thought about getting an e-bike. The only reason I thought about this was because I'm going to be using this every day and I don't want to be tired when I get to work, so it's mainly for the commute. But interestingly, this has made me rethink about my normal bike. This bike has made cycling more enjoyable, as I said before, but also it makes you feel a little bit safe on the road because it can get up to speed very quickly. Riding the e-bike as well has made me realise how much I enjoy riding e-bikes now, and to be fair, from now on the next bike I get will be another e-bike, so it's definitely impressed me enough to not want to get a normal bike again. The last point I really like about this bike is the lights. Now, the lights are obviously important, especially when it starts getting darker, but you can turn the lights on from the control panel on the LCD screen on the handlebars. I don't need to get off the bike to turn the lights on. Literally just press the button on the LCD panel and the lights automatically come on. I can ride through the tunnel and then I can turn them off when I get to the other side. Now, I really like this idea because, for example, if you're cycling along the road and it starts getting a little bit dark maybe, it's just very easy just to turn the lights on and off as you need them. Things that I would change about the bike. Now, this bike is heavy, it's 22 kilograms. Compared to my normal mountain bike, that's a big difference in weight. Now, obviously, all e-bikes are going to be heavier than normal bikes due to the fact that you've got a big battery on there and you've also got a motor, which is adding to the weight. So that's just something to bear in mind. Although, when you're cycling along, there is no kind of issue with the weight in terms of the speed that the bike travels, or cycling with it when it's not on assistance. You don't really feel the weight. The weight is only really an issue when you're trying to pick it up to move around when it's folded. Okay, next thing I would think about maybe changing on this bike is the folding up. Now, actually, this bike is a folding bike. That's what it's designed to do. and it does fold up really well. So you fold it up, it takes a few seconds to fold down, and it folds down very small. It's small enough to fit on a train, it's small enough to fit under your desk. If you're taking it away somewhere in the car, it's easy to put into the boot. The only thing that I can find an issue with really is once it is folded up, the bike doesn't have anything to hold it together. So it folds down, but if you were to pick it up and roll it away, for example, there's nothing there to hold the frame together folded. Now, I've solved that problem myself by basically just getting some straps and strapping it together when it's folded down, and that way I can wheel it around to work, and that's a fair distance, so I don't want to carry it, so I would choose to roll it. And when I'm rolling it, the bike, if you don't have the straps on, it can start to unfold and basically just move around a little bit. This isn't an issue if basically all you're doing is folding it up to keep it stored, or to put it into the boot of your car, or just to put it into the house. But it's just something that I've found that I would change, maybe some straps that come with the bike to keep it nice and compact together so it doesn't move around when you're moving it. This is actually one of the points that I really loved about the bike, which is the lights. So the lights are brilliant. I love the fact that you can turn them on the LCD screen, but the one thing I would change would be to have the lights just work on a sensor. So a nighttime sensor like you have in a car, for example, so the lights automatically come on when it gets dark outside. I think that would be a really nice kind of extra added onto it, where there could be a little light sensor in the LCD screen, so as you're going along, if it starts to get a little bit dark or you go through a tunnel, the lights automatically come on, and they automatically go off when it gets light again. So that's it, guys. So we've had a general overview, 3 things that I really love about this bike, 3 things that I would change about this bike. Honestly, I think this is a great little bike. I really enjoy riding it. I use it every single day, and actually go out just to use this bike. You know, there's lots of different bikes available, e-bikes, normal bikes, and the main thing is that people enjoy riding them, and whatever bike you choose has to be right for you and for what you need. I needed a folding bike and I wanted an e-bike because I want to get to work at a good time without worrying about being tired when I get there. And this bike is perfect for what I need it for. You know, there's always going to be a few little problems with bikes. You know, they're not going to be completely perfect, and I don't think you will ever get a bike that is completely perfect. Okay, so I hope this video has been useful. Maybe you're considering buying an e-bike, or just wanted to know a little bit more information about them and some experiences, which I hope I've shared. Obviously this is just my experience on the Wisper 806. So that's it for today's video. If you've got any questions or anything you want to say about the video, then please comment below. If you're enjoying these videos as we're going along, then please consider subscribing and hitting the bell. You know, we really appreciate the support from everyone. Catch you in the next one.